The
I'm going to call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning. All right. Anybody have any changes to the agenda?
The only thing, and Dave and I think I'll ask Dave what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Under Commissioners number 4, discussion update leadership pay, we were just going to do that under committee report.
We're just going to do it in our committee report.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we don't need it on the, but it's on the agenda, so it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
We weren't going to ask for action.
No,
We're
Sure,
just gonna
yeah.
give a-
we're just an update, yeah.
So we can remove number 4 under,
Or we could leave it there and just do it then, it doesn't matter. What do you want to do?
Well, when we were in committee, we just said we'd update the board and
Board.
ask for, so just,
so let's just remove it.
You can give it in your report.
Yeah.
we'll just
Give it in your
We'll do it in
report. Yeah.
reports. Okay.
Okay. Any other changes to the agenda? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
All right, Bill, motion. Do we have a second?
Minus item 4.
I'll second.
Commissioners.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes. Anybody have any corrections to the minutes? I don't think I had any.
Mary already gave me some, I can't
So
spell.
on-
I could, the last names I spelled.
Oh,
Under
Mary got me.
page 3 of 3, under Administrator's Report number 2, where we have the kudos to the 2 employees, do we want to say what those employees are? Like their job?
yeah, that would be good, maybe.
So,
At least what department they're in.
yeah, so like the, Joan is the superintendent at highway, and then Stacy Cresswell is the supervisor at DMV. That's the only thing I had.
All right, any other changes?
None.
There was a couple of changes to last names, Mary said,
Correct.
which,
And some.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. All right,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the changes.
all right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On to the consent agenda. Anybody want to pull anything from the consent agenda? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On to open forum. Nate, do we have anybody for open forum? Nobody wants to talk to us this morning. Okay, reports and correspondence. Who wants to start?
Madam Chair, I had Lakeland Mental Health. We were waiting still for our audit, so we didn't have a lot of financials. Our next meeting, we are going to, after the meeting, we're going to take out our 5-year anniversary employees out for lunch. So we'll out in Fergus Falls. We do that annually, and that's a good relationship builder with employees. So, and I guess there's quite a few more there this year of the longer-term one, so it'd be kind of interesting.
Is it just 5-year or 5-year?
They do 5-year
10-year?
increments.
Okay.
So every 5-year increment. So basically, almost 1/5 of the staff every year. Had a zoning committee. We had the ordinance review committee. We looked at a couple things. One was some penalty things for, so we're reviewing that. We're looking at language to, the one thing is, so if you clear a lot, I mean, to penalties for how much vegetation, how much trees you can take down, and if, so it's kind of complicated, because you start going, well, I always think of the person who's going to do as bad as they can, so that's my mindset. So we're trying to get language to address some of those concerns. And we did push one thing forward. It's the height restriction that we have currently and so we're trying to eliminate that on non-riparian, so 1,000 feet away from the lake and more. We're just looking at just eliminating that, but then we're increasing some sideline setbacks if you have a house higher than 30 feet. So that will be coming forward on us. So, and a couple other things that we looked at, but they're still in the earlier stages. So.
I think one thing that Kyle had mentioned, this has been, I don't know, a couple meetings ago, about ordinance about data centers. Has that been brought
Yeah,
up?
we were looking at all those data
Okay.
center, big, larger wind farm, and discussions on because we want the smaller ones that are attached to homeowners, or,
Yep.
you don't want to hit those. It's the big ones that you have. So we are looking at what we should have, what would be reasonable. So,
Okay.
and then I also had courthouse. I think most things are on the agenda, aren't they, Dave?
I think so, except there's one, the refund policy for planning and zoning.
Yeah, we had
permits.
an incident that someone was asked for a refund, and it was $100, and they didn't get exactly what they wanted, so they didn't want to move forward with it. But we had Soil and Waters out there, flagged the wetland, and zoning was out there. So I mean, we want to make sure we have policy stating that, this is a non-refundable.
Yeah.
Once we go on site.
Yes.
But I think it's good, though, that our office will refund if you do have a large building permit and you don't move forward. We're reasonable and we can refund.
Yeah.
But we want to get policy so we can
Yeah.
go back.
We want to recommend that we get a policy. So Kyle's done some work on that. And he's
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we did discuss the leadership pay, and we had quite a good discussion. And
Yeah.
from what Dave and I gathered for the not real strong support at the board and what the discussion was, we didn't feel that we were going to bring it back to the board at that time.
Yep.
Unless this group wanted us to investigate it for them.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, what leadership, I don't understand what leadership pay is.
The leadership pay that we discussed at the board that we did not support, and we brought it back to committee. So there's department heads and when they switch lanes and.
Is this longevity?
No, this is leadership pay. So we discussed it at board, and it was to do with when the job description changed and they changed their
Great.
grade, then their lanes, is it lanes or?
Steps.
Steps changed.
Yeah.
The steps went down, and we were looking at keeping them in the same step and what that would cost us to do. So the board really didn't feel strongly that that was something we wanted to do, because all the employees and some of the feedback we got then was, the employees, everyone should be treated the same. It kind of came back to that, and I think we vetted it quite well. I think we looked at it, and with the lack of support from that Dave found at the board, we didn't feel that this was something that we were going to bring back. But we wanted to let you know that we did discuss it. If there was a strong feeling to review it, Tira has some numbers. We looked at an alternate rather than giving them the full step. We went one step, and
We did that, and then we also went getting 6-month increment steps until they get to the same step they were on.
So
We looked at-
expedited.
Yeah, we kind of expedited. We looked at both of those.
And I guess at this time, we weren't going to ask for any change.
Yeah.
Unless we heard something differently from the rest of the board.
Yeah, I think we just continue the way we're doing unless anybody else feels any differently. Richard or?
No, I mean, I need to be educated a little more on it. You guys did the work on it, so support what you guys came up with. Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, you talked about the courthouse. One thing that was kind of looming here a month ago, when we did that heater thing,
Yeah,
we were talking about,
We discussed that too, and
Yep.
Brett came in and let us know that, yes, we can address that. He said, that's not our biggest
issue.
need.
Yeah.
No, nothing to take away from the coldness there, but he said that, we have some bigger, the boilers, and but he was getting some quotes, and we're gonna move forward with some of those, and he talked about replacing windows, talked about maybe taking and reviewing the windows, seeing if there's insulation inside the frames, and if we could maybe drill, there's a company that drills holes and foams those, and so, I mean, we're looking at other options. It's something that we want to address, hopefully.
well, it's getting warm out now, and we'll forget about it until next year again, then it'll rear its ugly head. That's what I've heard from, those people talking up there. Could we replace one window and see if that helps? And then if it does, do the rest of them, if that solves the problem, or am I not?
I think we want to get a company. Brent talked about getting a company in to evaluate how the windows are. They could be simple as filling in the hollow part of the window with foam, and then going on the outside, look at the glazing. Is that sealed up? Is there cracks in it? And then figuring out how to get better radiant heat in those areas on the northeast corner and the north, on that corner over there, and then the north side and the east side, or north side and east side are the cold sides. I'm pointing the wrong direction, I know.
But I think a lot of it,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is properly heating
Yeah, properly heating is.
the area rather than, I mean.
Yeah.
And regulating that. So he's coming back with some, and I think Carrie was working with him on getting some of that. But we did talk about it and getting some professionals to look at it and give us some feedback on it.
Because the most expensive fix. is
Windows are.
Windows, replacing
Yeah.
windows.
I mean, you want to talk, I mean, replacing the windows just on the north side of that building, I mean, you're talking easy 6 figures. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no question it's going to be
Yeah.
And
expensive.
really Brent's concern was like, yes, that is an issue, but we have bigger, maybe more expensive.
If your boiler goes out and you
issues
don't have heat, doesn't matter what windows you got.
What
Yeah.
windows you got? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And we have three
And
boilers.
it's not
there.
just no, I don't know my duct work, but it's how that's being sent out and how, I mean, the heat and how it's, Richard probably can help me on some of the terminology on duct work and,
Well,
Yeah.
normally when they do this, if you have a window, that's where your heat register is, and it
Yeah.
blows up there, and it keeps them from frosting up, and it takes care of that.
yeah, there's a lot.
There's probably a lot of different.
The
issues.
building was built inexpensively and we're seeing the costs of those
Yeah.
inefficiencies now.
What else do we have in courthouse?
I
I think
think
everything else is on the agenda, I think.
we did have a lot of discussion on the leadership and the
Yep.
building needs. I think that was it. Yep, we have the recorder's request in front of us.
And the election request. Too.
Those were in the
They're in the
consent.
Yep.
Yep.
What was the it's criminal justice for?
I wrote that down.
I did too, no, I can't remember.
Did Judy talk about that?
Yeah, it was IT. Oh, it's a solution for criminal justice, and we're talking 40 phones.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And the cost would be $44,000 annually, but it's a solution for the bureau, or the state requirement of secure, not
Not secure line.
so you'd have to have a separate phone basically,
Yeah.
or a separate, I don't know. I asked about a forward calling, so, but that wasn't really, I guess we have to do a little more homework.
We
on
gotta
that.
do more homework, and I'm assuming that would come to sheriff too.
Yeah. Other than that, did you get the appointment name I sent you, the email I sent you for appointment for Cormorant Watershed later?
Yes.
Okay. I just had, I think I gave this paper to someone, but, we were talking about the probation transition. Here's an article that, Wright County is having some difficulties with the state, but they were on a PTO vacation time, so they had their transition. And I guess they had some, I mean, I found out a little bit more about it. They had some individuals that had some conflicts, you know. Ours seem, we have a good working relationship with our probation and staff. So, I mean, this is not us pushing something. This is working together, finding a good solution. So if anyone wants to read that article,
What paper is that?
it's the Monticello Times.
Oh, okay.
I'll just leave that for you if you want to.
And yeah, and Brian, not Brian, Tess is going through some information on how these jobs would fit into our scale and
Okay.
our grades and
So it is, if we do this, it is state, there's some state, the state has done this many times now. So this is, how you transition is kind of dictated by the state.
it's not, it's kind of like a smooth.
That, how they, you know, transfer their wages, how they transfer their vacation and sick time. And that's kind of where their problem was, that it didn't transfer well with PTO, and I
Because
think
the
that's.
county had PTO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, the health insurance is not the same. So that's one of the concerns of our, you know, our local. I mean, how is this going to affect individually? How is it going to affect? So,
Yeah.
I believe that would be all I have.
And then the sheriff, actually the sheriff, everything's going to be on the next board meeting.
Yeah,
We had Sunnyside too.
Oh, yeah, Sunnyside we did have where our finances are not as good as they were last year. We're in the red a little bit. We expect some kickback from
This,
the rate changes starting the beginning of the year, but you see ups and downs, and they said the hospitals are low census and the nursing homes are low census right now in this area.
Yep.
And he said that happens sometimes where you just get a low numbers, and luckily we're financially strong enough we can hopefully ride this through.
Yeah, the state hasn't got the new pricing done for January 1st of this year, so it'll be retroactive back. So it will, once that pricing comes in, we'll gradually get back in the black, I'm assuming. Or-
All right.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, you guys had sheriff, are you guys working on a contingency plan for storage as that July approaches? Is our
Carrie had a meeting about that.
They had a meeting about it, yeah. And I think she emailed us, but she didn't,
because we'll need to
yeah, we got to
do
decide.
something there.
When is that up in July?
July.
End of July.
End of July.
End of
Okay.
July. July is our last month of it, or is it?
First
June 30th?
or 31st.
Carrie had a meeting with M-State, and then now she's going to meet with Kelsey too when she comes back.
Okay.
And she was going to see if we could rent space
Yeah,
Okay.
out there.
yeah. You got, I'll go next. So I had a fair board meeting. The fair board hired a handyman they have a big list of stuff for the handyman to do for this, over the summer and up to the fair, so he's gonna be pretty busy, so that's good. They got just just smaller projects that they have to update stuff and fix stuff and get stuff going. And they're also working on, that's, if you drive by the fairgrounds, that sign, that's triangle, or like that, they're looking at replacing that. They got a couple quotes on a straight flat sign, and then now they want a quote on the triangle sign, because they don't know, they want the company that gave them the quotes to come over there and decide how, it would be a better way to do it. They also want to make the sign, part of it permanent, but part of it removable, so they can change the dates and the times and the days of the yearly fair. They looked at a digital one, and that was like crazy expensive, so that's not gonna happen. But anyways, they decided they gave them some information and some pricing, but they wanted more data, more like shop drawings. They wanted some, material lists and so forth, so they can get a better idea of what it's gonna look like. They're also raising the judging fees for next year, not raising the amount they pay the judges. So what they're going to do is they're going to give each 4-H club a budget, and then they can decide how they're gonna pay the judges that they get. They also, with that budget, are gonna have some recommendations of what to pay. But we've been consistently, in the last 20 years, lower than any other fair that pays judges. So they need to get that, fix that, because it's getting harder to get some of those judges, and some of those judges stay there for a while.
Yeah, and it's important, they talked
Yeah, yeah,
just about having good judges
yep,
so that, kids that know what they're doing, judges that know what they're doing, so that if they're, eligible, so that they're able to go to the state
Yeah, yeah,
when warranted.
yeah.
So,
And they want good judges, and that's why the 4-H people are pretty adamant about that. So the next thing is we're also going to raise the grandstand fees for adults. I don't know if they were going to raise, I can't remember if they were a child, but they're going to raise up to $15 an event. But you can also purchase a pass for all 4 of the events, the 2 rodeos on Wednesday and Thursday, and the 2 derbies, and you'll save $10. So it'd be $50 for a 4 event pass. And then if you want just a rodeo event pass for the 2 rodeo nights, you can get that for $25, so you'd save $5. They decided not to do a derby pass for the 2 nights because I don't remember the rationale, so you'd be able to purchase those passes. You won't be able to purchase those passes at the gate. You have to purchase them from the office. Yeah, I got one more thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're killing me. So, and then last thing, they are now going to take credit cards and debit cards at the grandstand event, so people can,
that'd be good.
yeah, I don't know, we'll see.
Oh, I was just going to say, I just remembered the mobile device management was enrolled in the controlled MDM systems that allow remote locking and wiping of the device if lost or stolen. And that would be for the sheriff's office and jail.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really just remember that. Judy just emailed me. Thank you, Judy.
There's no way you remember that. Okay, so the last meeting I had sheriff, fair board, courthouse, Sunnyside, DAC meeting. We hired a new executive director, and I can say her name because she starts on Monday, and it's Lynn Drews. And she still is until tomorrow or till Monday, a board member. So she was one of our board members. We interviewed 7 candidates, and so we're excited to have her come aboard.
Did you sit in on the interview?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we already tasked with her. We have some tasks for her already going forward. So we're having this ADA swing set that we're going to set up just to the east of our building in that little area there. And so we are having her work with one of our other board members. We got a plan that we sent to T-Mobile because T-Mobile's paying for the majority of it with a grant. And we're going to get that going this summer, and hopefully we'll have that done. We'll have a cement slab with a rubber pad over it that's about 3.5 inches thick. And believe me, I didn't know they did that. The rubber pad is the most expensive thing of all of the stuff that's there in concrete and swings combined. But that's going to be real nice. And then we also are going to leave some area and possible space for expansion of maybe like a basketball court or a shaded area with it. But we just didn't want to spend that much money now to do all that. So that's going to get going this summer. And then I talked about our building project in previous reports. So we're still working on that. We got plans and pricing from Hammers Construction. The pricing we got we were okay with it. But the interest rates at the banks was going to make it almost not doable. So we are meeting with the Rural Development Authority on Monday. The board chair, and I'm actually the vice chair. I know it doesn't mean anything, but we're meeting with the Rural Development Authority per person, and we're really excited because the guy that's meeting with us wants to try to make this work, and their interest rate is about 2.5% lower, so that makes a big difference. So that's it. That's all I have. I'm done.
I was just curious if anyone's reviewed some of the possible budget cuts at the federal level that they're talking. I just looked at some of the budget cuts that what President Trump was proposing in this next budget cycle, and some of these programs I think that we have in the county could be hit. And I just when you start talking about some of the programs and I don't know you have to really dig in deep to see what
Yeah.
the end thing is. But it's kind of concerning how you move forward at this level when there's possibilities of some significant cuts in the near future. So,
I don't know if any of those cuts are in Medicaid, but, Medicaid, we do generate a lot of revenue from Medicaid.
and
Through our human
what
services.
I read, it could change 10 times
Yeah.
before the end of time. But, it's something we need to keep an eye on.
And that budget goes from September to September, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The
October
federal-
1st is,
October
yep.
1st, yeah. So that puts a monkey wrench into it too.
But we just have to, as we plan for the future, we have to keep an eye on that stuff too, just to.
Planning for the future, I mean, we're not planning for it, we're gonna have to react to it, is what you're saying, right? Is that your,
Well, we have to use the most up-to-date information we have when we make those decisions,
yeah?
Yeah.
3 months before the decisions are made,
Yeah.
which is the hard.
I mean, sometimes.
Well, no, 3 months after, I
If
guess
there's
it is.
something that we see, hey, this funding is in jeopardy, we just won't we can postpone decisions until we know maybe.
All right,
Okay, I'll go next. We're launching today a tire recycling event. You can hand that to those three. You three got it already.
Yep.
With environmental, so we're just trying to clean up the county a little bit. Used tires, big tires. It's hard to fit it all on one page, but we are doing that. We're also,
You can have rims on those tires, can't you?
please bring them. We'll take the rim off and that'll be in our metal pile. Yep. Also, this is a newsletter that we're going to be sending out just to promote our organics thing. We're going to try to do that quarterly, just to promote the organics thing. We're hopefully expanding to the Cormorant area, and we'd like to get into some of the schools with that organics recycling. With that, Richard and I had environmental. We know that STS is gone, but there's some threats to the ICWIC.
No, the other one.
Didn't you get one at
How
the?
about-
Yeah, we're gonna
I'm gonna give it
to Nate.
Just the ICWIC program, there's only 3 other counties in the state, Carrie told me, that uses ICWIC. So, I mean, we use it, it really works for us, but if it doesn't, we'll have to have some contingency plans in place. Is that F5, is that Better Futures? So those are some things that are coming down the pike that we're gonna have to deal with. We're aware of them. We need to know if it's going away before we make a plan. Our plan and permit application for our transfer station is going well. We're also going to put some advertising. We've been waffling for a year. What are we going to do with our advertising budget? So we do some radio ads. We do a little everything. But one thing we're going to spend some money on is we're going to go to those blue bins and we're going to put up some sleeves to put stuff like this in. By the time it gets wet and is wore out, it'll be probably time for a change anyway, but we just thought that would be a good advertising piece for the people that do go to the blue bins and recycle and stuff. So that you will be seeing. Had the watershed, the Bucks Mills project is underway. If you haven't driven by, go take a look. It's really incredible. That Ashwell company is working at record pace. October's their deadline. They said they hope to be done by June.
Yeah, I stopped over there last night, and actually we drove through, and you can drive it. The road's closed, but you can drive across it. It's that much complete.
Yeah.
And the sound of that water running through those rapids is so. I mean, it's a lot louder than you'd think it would be when you're standing there, but it's going to be a really, really nice spot.
And just hanging off that a little bit, I mean, I think that can be as nice as Dunlocks, not as big, but there's someone that owns that property with the building right there. They live down in that area, but if we could ever, the county could ever get that property and turn it into some kind of a park with some parking and fishing there, I just think that'd be really.
It used to be a nice little bar. They serve burgers there too, I think.
Yeah, I think they did.
Boy, if they put a deck out the back now, you'd be right over the water. It'd be amazing.
And-
I was thinking that would be amazing spot to have a burger on, but
Mitch has had some conversations with them. They don't want to sell, and maybe they're trying to monetize the area and turn it into that. I don't know, but if it ever becomes available, I'll be a hard pusher to
one
get
of
that.
the reasons why they did their lake or their frontage on that was limited, so if they can't sell anything and still have lake access, basically. They can't sell that building to us and have lake access yet. I mean,
Well, there would be no lake, that's after the dam, that would be the riffles and stuff, right?
Right, but they don't have enough, what I'm saying is they don't have enough to split it and sell that and then keep access to the water.
Oh,
So then they wanted the access to the
which
water.
would be a good reason why it'd be a good county
Yeah.
project to have, yeah.
But that was one of the reasons. They still wanted that because it's a beautiful site.
It is, and it's gonna be even more beautiful when they get it finished there. That is so cool. Okay, so that's the Bucks Mills project. Campbell Creek and Rice Lake, that's north of Floyd Lake there. We just continue to work on trying to get some bank stabilization there, and they're working on a plan for that. That'll be probably planning most of the rest of the year. They're also doing a little study, Floyd Lake, Little Floyd, Cara, and also milfoil. It's becoming really an issue up by the lake shore, so there's some people putting in some money to do some studies there. So that's what happens with the watershed. Our C&D, construction and demolition, we had a meeting I attended via Zoom. It was in Morris, getting some more information on those costs. And it's looking quite a bit more as you would expect. But next meeting, I should have some more complete costs on that. Airport, the taxi line resurfacing, they did that last fall. They held 5% back. We'll investigate that in the spring, make sure everything's okay, and then pay off on that. And then the apron expansion, those were two of the things we approved last summer, I think. That'll be happening this summer. Haug was the low bid on that, so they will be doing the work. Watershed, Wild West Watershed, I attended that for Barry. Houston Engineering has some really nice software. It's update software that tells you how the implementation of watershed projects is going. We decided to invest in that. Very good graphics, very good stuff. It's $15,000, and there'll be a $3,000 annual fee. So one question I asked there, just because I've been attending for Barry, so Barry, don't answer this question, but the rest of you, this is for you, because I didn't know this. I look at their budget and I say, you get $1.9 million every biennium for the last 10 years. I said, where does that money come from? Because it's not levy money. It's not, where does it come from? Does anyone know where that money comes from?
Bowser?
Bowser oversees it, but how is the money generated?
Oh, lottery tickets?
No. I didn't know this either. So Barry, do you know?
Well, there is levy dollars to go to the watershed.
Not for this implementation stuff, not as I understand it, not the stuff that Bowser oversees, but that comes from our legacy fund. Remember in 2009 when we voted for that 3/8 cent increase? You know, it goes to the arts, 20% goes to the arts, 14% goes to parks and trails, 33% goes to outdoor heritage, and then 33% goes to the Clean Water Fund. And that is what Bowser is implementing, you know, buffers into rivers and even some CRP, they do some CRP, bank stabilization. So that's the clean water aspect of that. And Bowser oversees it, and these implementation, Wild Rice implementation put that into the works. So
That was through the One Watershed, One plan.
correct.
That's where they're, and that's not forever.
No, it actually sunsets in 2034. We started
No, but
in
even the
2009.
funding for the One Watershed, One plan implementation is not, I mean, that's just a set dollar amount.
Well, I assume it would go unless we re-up the 3/8 cent sales tax.
No, but it's not something that they're going to continue getting funding from Bowser for, I don't think.
It's not,
The
once it's
implementation.
been there for so many years, it's no longer implementation.
They're going to be continuing funds coming through Bowser, but I think it's a different, well, I could be wrong, but implementation was funding it to get that done, and then there's going to be some ongoing. So it's a couple different pots of money. But they also, I mean, they get a good share from the taxpayer too.
Okay. So I just thought that was interesting. And obviously, the goal of all that is sediment phosphorus reduction into the water. So, I mean, that pretty much supersedes everything.
And flooding.
I went to the power line, the Cayuga to Maple River power line. I just went to that event. They had it over at the community center here. They have come up with a preferred route. It is going north of Detroit Lakes. Remember, the PUC is the one who will eventually decide where that route goes exactly. I do have a map here that,
I have had a couple people call me about that, frustrated that that there are several landowners along that have not been contacted. And when I went to that last fall, it was my understanding that all landowners would have been contacted prior to them determining the route. So that was a little concerning, but
I've had some calls on that too, and, because it's, one guy's gonna go three-quarters of a mile through his property. And then he asked, is there a tax, property tax reduction for that? And, I would certainly think that would lower, it would,
yeah, I don't
that
know.
should lower the value of that property. But,
well,
Very-
well, I'm just saying, if you, because,
I think anytime you have a permanent easement going through your property, it will,
does it, I
Have you seen
didn't,
this?
yeah.
Yeah.
so it basically, for us in Becker County, it's coming through the center of the county, and then it was going to split and go through the Cormorant area or go north, and they've decided that it's going to go north. Once again, we don't decide this. I mean, we can
Yeah.
go to these meetings and tell them what we think, just like anybody else can, but the PUC is the one who eventually decides the routing of it.
can I ask you a question?
Me?
Did anyone think that our input would make a difference on this?
Well,
Did anyone really believe that they didn't have their preferred route and this was all just shows so they could say I mean, honestly, they knew where they were going to put this route before they.
Yeah, I mean, when I attended last fall, they already had those two routes in mind because they want to go along
You want to parallel the
existing.
Existing.
yeah, I called Steve Green because that property owner was so upset, and I didn't really have, I told him I thought it would be very hard to fight these people and probably cost a lot of money. And
Well, there's nobody,
Steve Green told me.
there's no,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure,
there's nobody that's going there and saying, I want it on my property.
No.
So no matter where it goes, you're going to have a group of people fighting, no matter where it goes.
the path of least
But
resistance.
everybody wants power though, too.
Right.
So, and I get it, not my backyard kind of thing, but
The
that's what,
one person that did call me too was angry because they don't have a large property, which means the power line would go through her backyard where, you can hear the
Yeah, I think those are the
zapping
people that should be compensated and bought out if they're within ears of
yes.
that.
Those things are loud.
But
They're loud.
what I really would be nice, because they're paralleling the current system, why wouldn't they build this new one large enough to carry both lines?
So I think
Well,
they're
I
separate.
think it's big enough to carry an extra line,
Yeah,
isn't
they-
it?
yeah,
So
they-
they're only gonna
Right,
put
but-
one line
One.
on it.
But they
it's
Yes.
could put
big
another
enough
line
to
on
put
it.
a-
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice if
Another
we're
one on.
paralleling, why couldn't
Eventually,
you have
yeah.
one tower system instead of having
Yeah.
two that are 180 feet apart, and you're just, but I'm sure the costs would go up astronomically, and they got one already there, so.
Yeah.
so I asked the guy there, I said, this is coming right through our county, through the middle of our county. I said, what benefit is this to us? We've already got power, our power doesn't go out. I kind of just tried to feed
they
him
were
that
here.
information.
They were here.
Yeah, they were here last fall, I know. And he said, well, consider it like an interstate. If you want to go to Minneapolis, you get on 94 typically and go to the interstate. This gets power and then it comes back through substations and stuff, so.
Yeah, like he said here, it gives you more reliable and better, more reliable power source.
Yeah. So,
And we are becoming much more reliant on
Electricity.
power.
Yep.
so that was that meeting. A lot of people were in attendance there, though. And then me and Richard had highway on the 30th. Highway 39, we're going to do 5 miles reclaim. Highway 40, we're going to do 10 miles of reclaim this spring or this summer. 9 miles is going to have ash in it, and then we're going to do a test mile. So those bids all came back good. Everything went well with that. One thing that we brought up, actually Jim brought up, Spring Creek. We got a wetlands quarter up in Spring Creek Township west of Ogama. And there's been a request for some cattle grazing there. I went up and took some pictures of it. It's got no fence around it or anything. And I don't even know if we could do that. Ed Clem, if we did want to move forward with this, we'd ask Ed for a grazing plan or something. And he wanted to do more than a one-year deal. I don't know what the board, Richard, we said we bring this to the board and kind of ask what you got. We didn't know exactly what to do with that.
You might know, Barry, is it, this grazing land, how does that pay?
Well,
Does
I
that
think
pay?
we'd have to ask the powers that be if that's allowable. And the problem
That's
with,
Ed.
the problem with that, our wetlands that are in that program aren't well defined. That was one of the early ones, and it's just kind of a block, and it gives you, so, like, and now the wetlands that you in the program, they're defined, they're surveyed out, but those are not. And that's why we looked at it, possibly selling that property years ago to farm. There's some areas to farm, but it was deemed that there's no lines where you can say, because we are responsible for keeping those wetlands now in compatible or within the program guidelines. So I think if you can do it in a way where it's allowable, there might be some shorter time lanes, and I don't know, I imagine there's people that hunt that ground. It's public, it's public land, so it would hurt hunting up there. I mean, you wouldn't have, when you graze it down to nothing, it's not good
It
hunting.
won't get grazed down to nothing. There's a lot of brush and stuff coming up there, but that's where Ed Clem would, and we want to know if we wanted to proceed with this and ask.
I imagine
so
also.
I didn't know. I'm kind of
I
on it.
I think we'd have to public hearing it just
Yeah.
because there's people now that have probably gotten used to hunting. I don't know if you, any other game
think-
out there,
I think you'd also have to put it out for a,
competitive bid.
yeah, I mean, you
bid.
can't just say we're going to
Let
rent
you-
it to
let
this
you do
farmer.
it,
You'd
yeah.
have to,
And then who's responsible for fencing and upkeep of the
Well,
fence?
we wouldn't. But then again, that's why he would want to do, or he or she would like to do a long-term deal. But then we get into, I mean, how much income would it really bring in? I don't know, what do you get for rent on pasture, 50, 60 bucks an acre?
that's pretty
No.
high.
How much-
Is it?
What do you get for pasture there?
With good fencing, it's about $30 per pair per month.
$5,000? I
And
don't know.
around here, 3 to 4 acres per pair. So if you rented by the acre, it'd be at the max $25.
I mean, there's,
The bulk pays the taxes on it, it's kind of,
it's a lot of wetlands in that chunk,
yeah. So,
So is the direction for the board to kind of just not do it, or what do you guys think?
I don't know if we,
I don't know if that's worth it.
Jim might have a
Jim.
comment.
Yeah.
There is benefit for hunting too, I imagine, out there. Do you know if there's a lot of people hunt that? And it would diminish that, so.
I did talk to Ed Clem a little bit, and, he's kind of waiting to get some direction too. The grazing plan is kind of difficult. There's a lot of hurdles to go through. He says, with the broken up land and stuff like that, I don't know, they've only done one other one in the county, and it's a private one, and he hasn't heard of government doing any of them, but he's just thinking, it's not going to generate a lot of money. The person has to put fencing up, and that probably, and if he wants it for multi-years, that's going to restrict probably hunting use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cattle,
Here's the land. This is-
cattle will need to be watered. They won't allow them to drink in the sloughs and stuff, and I don't even think that's good for cattle anyways, maybe, or, so it's kind of intense plan it would be, so I guess, I don't know. It
Seems to me that it's not really,
won't provide us a lot of benefit,
Yep.
and if it ties it up for a period of time, I know this person asked if we would participate in fencing, and I don't know what your appetite for that is. I mean, we would lose all our, essentially, our payback on that would take several years of rent, and we wouldn't have any income to start with on it.
if we would fence it?
If we would contribute to it, yeah,
Oh,
just the
no.
rent alone would take a long
Nope.
time to pay
I
that
think we'll
back.
find out how expensive fencing is here in a few minutes. so.
Yeah.
If people are using it for other purposes,
Like hunting? Yeah.
hunting,
Be good pheasant quarter.
that would
So,
eliminate that.
I guess, are we saying the answer is probably no on that?
We're leaning more toward the no
Yeah.
side, I would.
I think so.
And maybe we can invite this gentleman into the highway committee, and if we
Yeah.
glean any new information that sees that it's feasible, and then we could have Ed Clement at that meeting and really get an understanding of what he wants and needs to make it good for him. And if it's,
I think if you look at the or the profit that we could make and it's not significant, I don't know.
It's not
yeah.
I don't know why,
less than 5.
I just don't know how you could fence off public land, though.
well,
Oh, yeah,
it,
no.
you,
You know, like
How
how.
would that work, Barry?
well, the
Could
Fish
you
and
still
Wildlife,
hunt it even if, I mean, can,
I don't know, Fish and Wildlife is fenced off that chunk just south of Lake Park, that whole,
yeah, they did it over there.
so
too.
then they're grazing it now, so there are, and I don't know if hunting's allowed or if they move the cattle out for deer hunting then, or timeline, so. I mean, you can do some more looking into it, I just don't know if it's, I'd look at Fish and Wildlife and ask them maybe just what they did to do that.
They
do that,
didn't,
yep.
they did it out by me. They didn't put up any signs, any different
Any no
signs.
hunting.
All the signs are still there.
But there's state law that says you can't hunt in pasture land.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Does anyone want to pursue this further? Or
I
is it
don't
pretty much a
know.
no?
It's worse
I'm a no.
Doesn't sound
Yeah, it
really
doesn't
like
sound-
it is. No.
If you want to invite that guy in and he's got some grandiose proposal, I mean, that's fine. But I'd call him back and say, yeah.
We weren't real.
here.
We're real receptive.
Don't leave, Jim. The second thing is, we have a gravel pit that we've had a beehive on for several years up north of town somewhere. And there's some neighbors that are allergic to bee stings or something. So Jim, can you shed some more light on this? Do we,
Well, we're working with the beekeeper, whatever you call them. You know, that's kind of a big business, and, you know, they send their bees south during the winter and they bring them up in the spring. And he's had them there for a number of years, and we've contacted him and asked about looking for another spot, and
because of the
We-
neighbors, right? The neighbors.
yeah,
are-
and we've offered him maybe to some other people to contact to look at going private land, but I guess we don't have a policy or not that gravel pits are typically closed, you know, gated. But I mean, for him to go in there and check his bees and harvest his honey and stuff like that. And
My experience is bees like that don't typically travel. I mean, they don't become a nuisance to the neighbors,
yeah,
is my experience, because I've grown up with having bees on our property most of my life, so.
It's a fair distance. How far is it, Jim? Do you remember? It was.
I think we figured it was about quarter mile
It's a
from where
little
they
ways
currently
away.
are set up, and,
They are honeybees. They're not
Yeah.
hornets or anything, so.
but,
It's on the county,
it's county tax forfeit land
Okay.
where we have a gravel pit currently, and the gravel pit is old and nearly spent, and so, but
I think if you can accommodate by getting more distance, even if it's a half mile, I think would be.
And that's what we kind of
I
said.
think there's some allergic reactions to the bee stings. So, I mean, has some serious ramifications if there is an event, but it's kind of tough when it's on county land, and now you have a adjoining property owner that says, you know, we'd just soon it wasn't there or farther away because we have a concern and we don't have a policy. So I think you have to address something on it.
Madam Chair, I think what Richard and I came to is if we can get it further away, which there are some opportunities, maybe get the beehive further away, we would want to explore those. If they can't, bring it back and we'll have to figure out what to do. Is that
I
what
think
the
that's fair.
consensus
That's
is?
fair.
Okay, all right. And then we just talked about Westlake Drive. You guys that were at the meeting this morning heard all about that. Local road improvement program funding, nothing was funded in our area this round. We had 230th in there. We had a couple different projects. Nothing was funded in this area.
I want to just complain about the trees being cut down, so.
Get in line. Prairie Lakes, we had our audit. I went down to Fergus Falls on the 30th, and just no issues with the audit. Everything's running smoothly there. That's all I got.
Did you read that there was one tree that was cut down that they counted the rings? It was 200 years old.
I did see that.
And that one looked pretty solid. I was like, oh, I don't know. I know you have to take down trees for progress, and I think most of those, I think over 85% of them were necessarily to come down because of they were hollowed out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just to go off that though, if anybody is interested, they do have the Detroit Lakes, I think it's on their city site,
There's a,
It's in the back there too, if
the
you want.
plan, and it does, oh, and ours too. So it does explain the tree removal and,
I'm sure
what the
every one of them
process
had
is
to come
for
down,
these.
but there was a couple I think that would have been nice. But
yeah.
I did not get involved in that, so I'm not going to be critical because if you want to get involved, you got to get involved early and
The last thing I had on finance, this came up last time, we decided to purchase the sheriff's guns, their county equipment now. One thing I didn't really think about was the holsters, so we spent $4,500 on holsters too, so that's county.
When we approved that,
Equipment
the
makes-
holsters
When we
were part
approved
of
that, the
it.
holsters were in
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Okay, they must have just.
because the guns are specific, especially with the new sights,
Yep.
that they
Okay.
have to have different holsters for those new sights.
And the reason why the holsters weren't bought at the same time is because they wanted to make sure that they hadn't picked the sights yet, of what site they wanted.
So make sure it
So that
would
makes-
fit.
That's why they're coming in late?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I just had the EDA on this, just a couple things that are on the agenda. The RFB bid approval for Maple Avenue, and we have a local housing trust fund ordinance to set the public hearing that Cody will talk about later. Just a couple of housing updates. We did find another possible cheaper option for our lead testing, so we have not approved anything yet. Again, that was 73,000. Was that what it was, Richard, Mary? I think 73,000.
Yeah, it was
So-
70-some thousand.
So we're hoping, we have found another possible option, so we're looking into them more. And we're also have found a couple possible grants that we could apply for. Of course, that's not open yet, so we're hoping we can get some grants to pay for that, because it does seem as though we are not going to get out of it. All of our public housing units are full. We did have our Inspire inspection was completed in March. We don't have the inspection report, but there were some post-inspection repairs that were required, so we'll see some of those additional repairs coming through. There was a change in their standards and protocols, so many of those required updates to be made in compliance, but again, my understanding, it was nothing major. Hopefully, at our next board meeting or the next one, we should have that inspection report. We're currently assisting 46 families with vouchers, continue to have 236 applicants on the waiting list, and then Maple Avenue and the West River Townhomes are full. And that was all I had. Anything to add? The EDA, Richard?
No.
And then did you have any other?
No, I had environmental and highway with Phil. That's all I had, and he's covered everything there, so.
And highway, we had highway too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else before we move on the agenda? Do we have any appointments?
Yes, Madam Chair. I have an appointment for the Cormorant Lakes Watershed. It's a appointment to fill a vacancy. Tony Nisler has resigned due to personal health issues, and wish him the best and thank him for his service. I would like to appoint at this Melissa Guzlaw to fill his term, which ended to fill his term. That's my motion.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion?
She did attend some Cormorant Lakes Watershed, and she was recommended by the Watershed Board to,
Okay.
and they have another one that's going to be vacated soon, so they're still looking for another applicant, so we can keep that notice online that there would be a opening there. Because there's another gentleman that sold his place and is moving, so we'll have to get his spot.
All right. Okay. Any further discussion before we vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, Becker County Food Pantry. So, are we doing the Becker Bay funds? Or do we want to do the presentation first? Let's do the presentation or the updates first.
Okay, you first, will you?
Yeah. I'm sorry Dale's not here. He's sick. He's got the influenza.
Oh,
So I told him to stay away. Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
oh,
Thank you.
All right.
Well, yeah,
Liz?
first, thanks for having me. And, you know, you guys are so supportive of the pantry. It's amazing. This whole community is so supportive of the pantry. It is just amazing. And what I gave you, it's just a little update on last year, our numbers. And I do have an error in there. Yearly totals for 2025 households, it says 35, should be 335. So to sum it all up, we've actually, last year, we served 1,493 more people than the year before. And the way this year's quarter is going, we're going to be above that as well. We have cut back on what we're giving, the quantities. We're finding we get our food from the North Country Food Bank, and they're seeing cuts coming their way, so it's harder for them to offer us the lower free food. So we're spending more money already this year and getting less from them. So it's going to be an interesting year, but like I said, the community is so supportive that it's just amazing.
I would imagine the Ruby's Pantry is no longer going to be doing distribution, so
Right.
that could increase your numbers.
Yes,
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where all that food is going? I mean, is there an opportunity for us to obtain some of that food that,
We're trying.
Okay.
We're trying to source that. Hopefully we can. And from what I understand, I'm pretty new in this community, but Ruby's Pantry used to come here to DL, and then they stopped. So we've got a few people that kind of really know it. They're trying to find out if we could get a hold of that food.
okay.
So, and that would be a purchase, but that's okay because it's a lower cost purchase from what I understand. And then with the SNAP benefits changing in November, that really pushed us forward. And now this year, all those changes are coming as well. They have a lot more eligibility requirements for people. So a lot of people are going to lose, even more people are going to lose their SNAP. So we're going to see a big increase.
All right.
And another thing I just wanted to point out with this is that, like I said, the community is fantastic, but these retail stores, they're so generous with us. We have donation drivers that go to Walmart and Aldi's 3 times a week, and we go to Central Market every day of the week. And Central Market, they're all great, but Central Market has really stepped up. I mean, we're getting produce, which is amazing, fresh produce. In the summer, we do really well. We get a lot from the farmers, but the winter months are a little tougher. So, yeah, it's been good.
What do you do with expired food?
Yeah.
What do you do with expired food?
So the USDA has, they have policies on expired food. So technically, a canned food is good for 1 year after expiration date. So we will put that out, but we let people know. We look at the dates when we shop with them. We help them pick their food. But the fresh produce and those types of foods, we have local pig farmers come and pick it up. So we have one we call mostly all the time. If she's not available, then we go down our list. So it's pig and chicken farmers we give all that to.
Nice.
Yeah. We don't ever want to throw anything away.
All right. Anybody have any other questions for Liz? Anything else, Liz, before we
No, just thank
present
you.
you with our, so we had, for those here that don't know, we have an auction every year among the Becker County employees where they donate items and then we bid on it. And what was our grand total for this year?
$2,756.
$2,756 will be donated to Becker County Food Pantry.
And
So-
Peggy
amazing.
organizes it all, so she
Yeah.
deserves a round
I didn't do
too.
it by myself.
Well, mostly.
Nicole up in planning and zoning, and Tony is amazing. He sets up the website, so
That's
we like to outbid each other. It's fun.
It's such a creative idea. That really is an auction for
Yes, yes.
fundraising.
So thank you to all Becker County employees that participated and
I bought some pickles, and they were the best pickles.
They were really good. I got some.
I'm gonna-
And I was gonna outbid his pickles, but I figured I better be nice. Let him have it.
Because he was
They-
he was
Yeah, I
going to
think we
share
should
with you
take
anyways,
photos.
Yeah.
right?
No, they were really good.
I didn't want to
They're
share with my wife,
unbelievable,
but she took them.
Liz, should we take a photo?
Yes.
I feel like Sandy should be up here holding it.
It's a
Yeah.
different one.
It's a different big check.
Yeah.
Okay.
We couldn't print it.
Where do you want to do this?
Right in front of the seal is always nice.
I better get on the lower level.
Yeah, those tall people were level. Short
I got
people,
caught on the upper level.
she could step up. I know. Okay.
Am I the only one back here? No, you look really tall.
You guys are good.
That's good. Are we ready? On three. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay, sounds good.
So when the food pantry opened up, was it 2 years ago now, the new food pantry?
The new building?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was there with John Okeson, and Sandy was there.
Sandy, yeah.
So she said, what was your quote? What did you say, Sandy? That this is an awesome place because it makes people feel wanted when they come in there, or makes them feel important, like we are valued. I don't remember what word you used, but it was perfect at the time.
Yeah, I never saw the old one, but
Yeah.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
And compared to the old one, this one, it's like a little grocery store.
Yep.
If you've not been there, please come and take a tour, and they come in and they're empowered. They get to pick
Yep.
their own food. And you'd be surprised how many people, and it all goes on household sizes as to how much they can pick, but a lot of people they won't even pick their max number. They'll say, I'm good on this, I'm good on that. So it's a really nice concept.
Yeah,
And-
it's an awesome place. If you guys haven't looked at it, go look at it. It's
Yeah, you're welcome to come
It's
Tuesday,
pretty
Thursday, noon to
impressive.
3.
impressive when you walk in.
It is, and the volunteers, that's another thing. We use about 25 volunteers. We're only open Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon to 3, but each one of those days, we need about 25 volunteers each day to help that run the way it runs. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for meeting the obviously quite large need for our community. So thank
Happy
you.
we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have just an informational. The Spring Becker County Township Association meeting is this Thursday at 6. And I see Mr. Winters is here. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just to add a little bit, I want to welcome you all there. We're trying something different. We want to start at 6 o'clock our meeting. Majority of people working close by, maybe come over there. They're going home, coming back. Okay, and Erica, you're going to be up first.
I'm going to be up first.
You can tell us everything what's going on, so you don't have to come and be surprised, so I'll tell you
All right.
at the time.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, okay, and then we're already trying to plan our fall meeting, so we have it before the election, so candidates are invited, will be invited to come at our township meeting. So we gotta pick that date yet, and we'll let you know on that. And the last 25 years, the townships has worked and the county have worked together, we've been working together all these years. And sometimes it don't go so good, but majority of it, with the townships and the county people and back and forth, I think it's going pretty well. Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
so you know, you have some big shoes to fill for your first meeting as the board chair at Township.
Bah, I'm not worried about it.
Madam Chair, Roger, I'd send a reminder out, because that's always been at 7 o'clock. You've changed the time to 6 o'clock. I mean, just so, I would send some kind of a reminder. Because I've had a lot of people ask me.
Yeah, okay. Very good, thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
I put it in my phone at 7 o'clock because I'm
So
like,
did
I always
I.
come at 6 and I'm always there an hour early, so.
Registration's at 5:30, right? Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to Tiara, Human Resources.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have 2 items before you today. The first is Resolution 4261D. This is for temporary help in the assessor's office. We have one individual out on leave. So this would be to backfill some office support duties at a wage of $19 an hour. There would be a cost savings. This individual is out on PFML, so this MetLife pays the majority of their wage. They have opted up to use what they can of their own leave, but there would still be a cost savings for this.
This is 1C?
1D.
1D, I think.
Madam Chair,
And the agenda is wrong, but,
I'll move to approve Resolution 426-1D.
all right, we have a motion to approve 1D. Do we have a second?
Oh,
Who second?
Barry.
All right, any further discussion?
Just one thing, just to encapsulate this, we have 17 people using paid family leave at this juncture
Yep.
of the year, just so you know.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank
Next
you.
one.
Second item is the job description for the natural resource Parks and Rec maintenance lead. So this is a new position to the county. This is a move from STS crew lead that we previously had under the sheriff's office, moving that over to Parks and Recreation, and a little bit of a different job description for them. Once, I should say, if this is approved by the board, then we'll proceed with posting and filling that position.
And this will be a full-time position?
This will be a full-time position, and it was budgeted for under the sheriff's office as STS, and those funds were moved under Parks and Rec.
Okay. All right. With that being said, any questions for Tiara about the job description?
Do we need to approve that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll move to approve
All right.
the Parks and Rec maintenance job description.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiara.
Thanks, Tara.
All right, next we have Jim. We're only 11 minutes behind this morning. That's not bad.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Highway has 2 items for your consideration. First is the award of bids for our work on County Road 39 and 40. We had good results, and we had several bidders competing for this project. The low bidder is Zavril, that came in at $4,020,177,000, which is about 19% under our estimate, about $900,000 in savings. As Zavril has worked for us before, and we are recommending award to them.
All right.
I'll move to approve Resolution 426-1B.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Phil, second by Richard. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Jim, can I ask a question? What do you think the reasoning for significantly under the estimate?
Surprisingly, we had real good pricing on asphalt. Also, this contractor got some jobs in Wadena County, right next to us, so he's got some other jobs nearby, so I think that's part of the reasonings, so.
I mean, I think they're all fairly close too. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
fairly competitive ones too, so I'm not worried about missing something, so.
Nope.
We're happy to see that.
Yeah, we are.
And I asked him that too, and work is a little slow this year too, Jim, right?
For road work, yeah, as far as paving work, it is, yep.
6 competitive bids. I mean, that's impressive to get
Yep.
6 for that kind of work.
All right, next request.
Sure. Next request is for a purchase request for pickups. I got some information for you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Jim.
This request is for the purchase of 2 half-ton pickups. We are looking to replace some older pickups, some 2012 units, half-ton Dodge units. Those The list I gave you shows you kind of our list of all of our equipment. I know you always sometimes wonder how much we have for inventory and stuff like that. The spreadsheet shows a kind of a rating system we have. We give a point for the age of the vehicle. We give points for mileage. Those points for mileage are essentially approximately about every truck that has about 10,000 miles we give a point to. So you see these trucks that we're looking at are all over 100,000 miles. One is I think around 116, the other one is around 106. One of the pickups we're showing you that's highlighted in the yellow too is the half ton or the 3/4 ton, which we replaced earlier. That was to replace a 24-year-old pickup, just so you can see that and how they kind of go in the ranking. So the total points, you see we've selected the highest ones with the most points, which are the ones in the worst condition. I've given you some information on our capital improvement plan. These were in our budget. We had planned for the 3/4 or the tandem plow, the 3/4 ton, and the 2 half tons. Our estimates are shown in the budgeted amounts on the kind of the left column there, and then on the right is kind of the actual pricing on what you see there. So these have come in under our estimates. So we're keeping it within our budget. And then the last page, just kind of pictures, shows those pickups. Those pickups the bodies are in decent shape. Our pickups are used, these are the ones mainly used for highway inspection. The bodies are nice because typically we don't drive them much in the winter, but they are used significantly in the summer. We had a question in finance, thinking mileage wasn't quite that high, but realizing that these trucks idle significantly, during the daytime in their usage. So their hour meters probably would indicate a lot higher mileage on them, but these don't have hour meters on. So if you have any questions on those, I guess, or want to have a conversation.
I was going to note that, Jim, that we did discuss that at finance yesterday, because that was my question, that, we do have these pickups that only have, I think there were 103 and 135,000-ish miles between the two, which I thought was actually low miles for a vehicle. And Jim did point out, which I didn't take into consideration, that these do sit idle sometimes for, maybe 8 hours a day. So that could be taken into consideration. So
generally, we look for that kind of that sweet spot on when to sell them and when we can get some money and where we don't have significant repairs coming. These pickups, one of them, does have a little tick or knock to it, and it's got a little body damage on the one side with some rust. The other one is fairly decent as far as body-wise, but typically, you don't have costs incurred. They kind of inverted bell. When you get to the bottom of the bell, then you start having increased costs, and we're kind of at that point where we're going up. We have replaced the front sway bars on those Dodges, which is known to rust out on them. And there are other issues that we know with those particular years of pickups. When you do research on the internet and stuff like that, they show that some of those pickups of those years are prone to transmission issues and electrical issues, and we don't want to get into there. If we have to replace a transmission, essentially, then, you lose all your revenue on, if we go to auction them or sell them. The other thing, these could be used in environmental. They may be looking for some pickups, so these would be available for them, which would make them, use further.
anybody have any other questions or?
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the purchase of 2 half-ton pickups for highway.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Chair, I
Thanks,
just,
Jim.
Are you opposed?
No.
I was just curious on the, did it include in the motion the disposal of the two, the
Well,
option, the either option, well, I just option to sell them. I mean, I think we,
Yeah.
I think we include that either by county, another agent, another department in the county, or by public auction.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Is that acceptable to be included in that motion?
I would make that change.
I mean, that,
Make that change.
so we have the disposal, so we don't have to come back to.
Since we already voted on it, do we need another vote or?
We need to amend it and then vote on
Do you
it.
just want to,
You can just, I'll make a motion to authorize the highway department to sell through public auction or to another department in the county, the two pickups that are being
Okay.
So we
sold.
have a motion to authorize sale of these two pickups either by auction or to within county. Do we have a second?
South second.
All right, well, motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for that, Barry. Thank you, Jim.
yeah, that was a good Barry. Think about it.
All right, next up, we have Cody.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning, Cody.
First item you have is to accept the bid award for the RFP 2601 renovation of the Maple Avenue Apartments in Frazee. This would be Resolution
1F.
04261F for the total amount of $250,395.53.
One of the ADA guys want to do that, or you want me to?
Do we have any question? Do we have any more?
The other, there was a lower quote, but that wasn't complete. Is that the reason why we couldn't accept them?
Yep. On the bid sheet, there's one lower bidder, but they didn't submit all the required documents in a bid bond. So they were pulled out. We did receive a few other bids and inquiries, and they were just incomplete or not received before the bid deadline. So the next lowest one was the Timberland Exteriors, and they had submitted all the required documentation as well.
Does everyone on your committee feel that this is a reasonable bid?
Yeah, we had some bids that were higher than that the first go-round last fall, and a couple of them came in around this price range. Initial kind of preliminary estimates were, I think, around 215, and that was last year, so we're in the ballpark.
I mean, of course, we would have liked him to come in lower, right?
Yeah, I expected
I mean,
that.
but-
That looked fair to me from what we've been going through this for quite a while.
Yeah.
That, you know, and so, yeah.
One nice thing this round compared to last is we did have locals, and Timberland is local. The last RFP, none of them were local, so it's always nice to, be able to support local.
I saw the low bid also did not have the alternate. Did not.
Yeah,
include
there were a couple things with the low bid. I was here for the bid opening, and I can't remember it all, but other than of course.
So we are well within our rights by refusing the low bid because they did not have the requirements bid?
Yeah, we deemed them non-responsive.
Jim, you agree with that? Okay.
Madam Chair, Cody, do you have a deadline on this? It has to be done by a certain date?
Well, we put a hard stop in that it'd be done by September 1st, I think, but their project timelines are considerably shorter than that, so I think this one's roughly 8 weeks. So
September
depending-
1st to get the work done?
Yeah, substantially completed, but I think we'd be starting earlier than that and done quite a bit earlier than that, so.
Yeah, I don't remember. He had the dates in his bid, but yeah, his was just 8 weeks, so it was done, I want to say, by July-ish. So, all right, with no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve 1F.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have our set a public hearing date.
So the second item in there is a request to set a public hearing at the next commissioner meeting. It's a requirement of the Minnesota statute 462C to establish a local housing trust fund. It has to be done through ordinance at a public hearing. This kind of is in conjunction with the bid award. The source of funding for that project is the statewide affordable housing aid. So the idea was that we can transfer that money into a housing trust fund to establish that. That kind of meets one of the criteria of recognizing it as spent, and then this project would be our first money coming out of that fund. And then the remaining funds would be used for further programming, and then it would also give us an opportunity to start looking at different, there's in the past been a couple grants that you could leverage for like housing trust fund matches and stuff. Currently not any open, but there's anticipated ones for 2026 and some other revenue venues to look at that we can leverage that for. So this is just to kind of formalize that process. We have the draft ordinance that's been reviewed through committee and approved at the EDA. They're pretty straightforward, kind of used across the board for the most part for all counties. There's not a lot of variation and deviation in them, but we'll highlight that part in the ordinance for discussion. But otherwise, in terms of the revenue sources, those are kind of listed in the summary on page 43, I think it is. Eligible match opportunities, and then the types of projects and programs that are typically paid out of this type of fund. So overall, it's just a flexible, leverageable fund, and this would be a way to formalize that.
Cody, I got a question. Can you use like revolving loan fund on that too?
Yeah, if there's a program that's set up out of this, then there are like eligible funds that are first established with it. The money that goes out, once it comes back in, goes back into the fund. So whether it's revolving or deferred, but yeah, if there's any interest in other things like that, there'd be generating, revenues to help support it.
All right, any other questions for Cody about?
You just need a motion to set that as the public hearing time, or you just need, you need a motion to set that?
No motion to set the public hearing date for the Housing Trust Fund ordinance, yep.
I'll make a motion to set that public hearing date for Housing Trust Fund ordinance, April 21st, 2026 at 9 a.m.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Go ahead.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I just had one other quick question. We closed our vacancy appointment today.
Oh.
So I'm not sure, Phil, if you had any
Oh,
updates for
yes.
that or not, but I know you had. So
I forgot about that.
we didn't receive any letters of interest or requests.
John
so-
Okeson had suggested that he was interested in that.
Right, so I was just,
So,
Was that my job to bring it to the,
yeah, we should have brought it to the appointments.
You can make it now.
We
I
can
mean,
make it
we're
now.
under EDA.
yeah, you had reached out ahead of time and said that he was interested, so if that was the intent and you're prepared to do that, you could. Otherwise, we would just probably repost it, so if we needed to.
I'll move to put John Okeson on the EDA board effective. Is he filling out a term or is he?
Yeah, it's a vacant term, so it'd be a new term.
Okay.
Effective this year for 6 years. District 3.
Okay, for District 3.
All right, we have a motion to appoint John Okeson to the EDA to represent District 3. Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
Thanks,
EDA,
Cody.
John.
Thanks, Cody.
Is he new to government?
Yeah, I don't think he's been a part of government for.
Busier now than he was.
Okay.
His committees.
Next, we have Mr. Skoog.
Morning, Madam Chair, board members.
Morning, Steve.
Today we have a resolution concerning securing 245th Avenue. There's been a lot of discussion on this, and this talked about in finance. They were interested in knowing what some of the projected costs were, and then also what kind of traffic that we actually have going to our demo landfill. So I ran some updated costs for that. There's some ticket numbers. And then there's an average amount per month. Keep in mind that's an average. Some days we might be higher than that.
Thank you.
You don't trust me, Nate? Hmm.
Also, there's some cost estimates. This is updated from yesterday. I got some additional information from Arvig.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Is this an additional one to the ones that were in the packet, Steve? Or is this,
That's the actual cost. So when I put together the packet, I didn't have all the information.
oh, gotcha.
So I got some updated information from Arvig. Really, it came down to finding information on a number of things, because when you talk about securing the campus, you have to have some way of blocking off or separating our demolition landfill from our solid waste campus and keeping both secure. There's permits that require that we do that. So there was some, over the last year, there was some question about different types of fencing. So I put together some options in there as far as cost estimates for chain link, either netting with some barbed wire or some high tensile electric.
What is netting?
Like sheep netting, that type of farm netting. You see on farms, or sometimes they'll have a 4-foot netting fence with some barbed wire on top.
Oh, okay, all right.
Also, it's not just securing that road, but it's securing that access so you don't have people leaving without paying or coming onto our campus without being able to track them. And that's gets to be the expensive part, because if you look at how we do our ticketing and how we track traffic in and out of our solid waste campus, basically there's one ingress and egress right now. We can follow through that. Peggy, do you have that PowerPoint?
Yeah.
You bring that up.
Give me just a second.
So this is a map of our campus. You can see down on the bottom left, that's to the north, and that's where our entry is. It's one-way traffic, so customers come in, they have their things to get rid of, they enter in, they go to the transfer station, go to the next one. And at the transfer station, an attendant will look at the load, and then with our system, we don't track the people coming in. We don't ask their names or driver's license or anything like that. They'll document what's in their load. They'll give the attendant will sign that or initial that ticket. He'll give them original. We'll keep a carbon, and then they'll direct them where to deposit it, and then we'll go to the next one. So in this case, if they were to proceed out to the demo landfill, you can see where they would go. They would go up to the demolition landfill. They would offload their items. If they had some tires, they'd go offload those, or brush, or whatever they may have. Then they'll come back out. You want to go to the next one? So they bring it to the pay station, which is at the exit, where the clerk will then accept that ticket. So we still don't know who that person is, or we don't have any way of tracking that vehicle. They'll ring up, they'll take that ticket, they'll calculate out what the bill would be in.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why do we not pay when we get the ticket originally? We are creating another stop, and I think we're adding work. I was just out there and I thought of this the other day. I'm like, why am I just not swiping a card and paying this when I get the ticket?
So part of the problem is that you don't know what's in that load.
They've already waited. They've already.
No, it's not by weight, it's by what's
They've
there.
already gave me the ticket, and I don't stop back and
No,
redo
but
it.
we do require, if somebody comes in with a roll-off, for example, a lot of times there's debris that's buried underneath, and the staff they'll tell them to bring it up to the demolition landfill. They'll occupy them up there, and then they'll look at that load, and if there's debris that's buried underneath it that's not supposed to be in there, they'll either make them separate it, or our staff will do it, and then we'll bill them on that ticket.
So you occupy any roll-off?
Not anyone, where if we suspect that there's something there that we don't know, they will. Or if they know they went up there and they track, if they know the roll-off that went up there and somebody was up there, they would look at that and they'd observe it. For example, if you bring
So
it,
you're talking the driver then would be in violation of what
they said was there.
So
And
that-
quite often, they don't know necessarily what's there because the roll-off is dropped at let's say, a construction site.
He just picks it up and
He picks it up and they're correct.
My question still is, why wouldn't we have them pay initially? And if we find out that they have an additional charge, you could still additional charge them.
You could.
Because if you don't go out there and inspect it, you're not going to know that. And they're not going to self-report 99% of the time, I don't imagine.
No, they don't self-report it, but that's, to your point, that's part of the reason why we do that.
I mean, this probably doesn't have anything to do with the fence, but I think we're creating an extra step there that we're going to have to look at modernization out there in that regard. That's my opinion.
It's going to cost us in order to, Steve's kind of worried that somebody's going to drive off without paying, okay? But to ensure that, the cost of that is going to be high. And most of our licensed, I don't believe any of our licensed haulers are going to drive off. Now, somebody may drive off, but the expense of that, I don't think is going to come close to what it costs to make sure they don't. And I think that we could always do something if we're seeing that being a problem. We could always do something.
The other option is, we could force them out that way to pay out that way if you wanted to. You could make it an in-out and not let exit out that, so you control the exit and you control it on the township road, so.
But you can't control it on the public road.
You can control it at your site and make them pay at where we have the recycling or the building there. I mean, you could make them come in there and pay instead of paying going this way and have it just a loop. I would rather see us pay when we don't.
Well,
but anyway, continue
Yeah.
on.
I was going to say that's kind of not here nor there.
Well, it is here nor there if we were thinking we don't,
because it's going to cost a lot of money to.
If we're worried about drive-offs, that's one way to fix it.
That is, and I'm not saying somebody, but with some strong language on some signage and warning from the attendant.
I think
when he gives you the ticket. I think
someone's going to dump it in a ditch before they're going to go in and haul it to the dump and then drive off. I mean, seriously.
I don't think it's going to be a big problem. If it turns out that we're seeing a big problem, we could do something about it then. But the expense of the cameras and the fiber optic, I mean, we just need some rolling gates. I roll my gate all the time. Now, I do have a button, but sometimes I have trouble with it. They're so easy to open and close that I don't see the need for running fiber optic and electric and all that over there. And then the operator on the gate is the most expensive part of the gate. There's a computer and a motor and a heater. And if you roll that gate open in the morning, roll the other one open in the morning, close them at night, it seems very simple to me. That's what I see, but so.
So when we talked about this, and you have to have a secure campus. So the next step would be if the board wishes to implement this, then we'd have to submit a plan to the MPCA on how we're going to secure the campus, both during operational hours and when the facility is closed as well. And that's going to be reviewed by two different departments. It's going to be closed by the closed landfill department, and it's going to be reviewed by your operations, the people that permit our operations out there.
So you're either saying, Richard, you said you open both gates in the morning, you close them both at night. If the MPCA says, no, that's not secure, then it's every time you go across, which is 700 or up to, in busy season, up to 700 times
you're going to have it
per in and out. Probably
Yeah, well, they're not
1,400
gonna
times.
say that. Our other gate, we're not opening and closing the entrance to the landfill every time somebody comes. We don't know, I don't believe they're gonna we should have found this out by now because we do have a deadline coming when that landfill is not gonna be secure. And I think that we really need to get moving here. This should have been done quite some time ago because that deadline is coming and that gate's coming down and we're not gonna be ready. I don't believe that that's one of our problems. I don't believe it's during, you've never asked this question to them, Steve?
We did, we actually met with them
And what
about,
did they say about it?
you have to have, that's one of their questions, is that as per the documents that the county signed when they closed the landfill and when we opened up our operations there, the county agreed that when we make changes that we will notify
Right.
them.
We have to
when
submit a plan to them in order for them to approve. So we have to come up with what the plan is going to be, which
We did, but we've met with them twice now, and they told us that everyone is different. Some don't even need fencing, they just need logs. They said rocks. They told us, I don't believe that gate has to be closed every time somebody comes in and out of there. I was at both meetings with the Pollution Control Agency, and they made it, they were very helpful and made it very easy to secure this. We can even use that high tensile wire. So I'm not worried about somebody stealing anything out of there or dumping a load. And I don't believe they're going to make us open and close them gates every time. That would surprise me.
I think it would surprise me too. And I think we submit a plan, and I would go to a 3-wire fence. I don't know why you'd need a 5-wire.
We wouldn't.
But do a 3-wire fence in the black line as presented. I don't know why you'd need gates on the closed landfill across from the household hazardous waste. And I don't know why you'd need gates on the very south end on the blue line. I don't know why you'd need gates there. I think you just put gates, rolling gates on the intersection where we cross and put a rolling gate. You're only going to open those 2 gates in the morning. And if we have to have surveillance on it, if they say we have to have surveillance, if we have a problem, we can come back to this at another time.
We can
enhance it more.
So I'm just going to tell the board here where I'm coming from. I've done, some research looking into this roadway, and this roadway is, unless somebody from the township or somebody can tell me different, was established as a cartway in 1918. We have no other documentation, whether in the township or county, of anything other than a cartway. A cartway is much different than a public road.
A private cartway is
they're
what
not.
This said.
Madam Chair, could I ask, I see Roy Smith is here, and there's probably no one in the room that has more knowledge. Do you have any input on this or any thoughts on the road itself, Roy?
I really didn't. I
Okay.
talked to Mary a little about it,
Okay.
just to get kind of recapped on the thing, but the road was set up in 1918 as a private cartway. The private cartway was only 23 feet. The purpose was to get from a public road half a mile south to a guy by the name of Keel. It was a private road to get to his property. And all the land was going to be, there's a quarter line runs right down the middle of the section. This land was all going to be on the west side of the
Section line?
Quarter line.
Quarter line.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the fact is, the public has been using this road.
It's irrelevant to me if it's a public road or not,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because we have to, I assume we have to provide access to that
Yes.
property.
And they've
Whether
been
it's-
using it.
Whether you want to argue it's a township road or not, to me, that's irrelevant. We have given a 33-foot easement.
And we have
to-
provided access for the last 30 years. And,
With the gate.
I'm not saying we don't continue that. I do think we continue it. I'm just not in favor of us spending this amount of money or any amount of money. The point is we have an obligation to ensure that our landfill is secure, whether it's to prevent illegal dumping, maintaining safety at the site, whatever it might be. That is our obligation, and we have been performing it this way for 30 years with no objection from anybody. And now, 30 years later, we as the county are expected to spend a significant amount of money to provide legal access. when it was established as a private cartway. So this has never been established as a public road. So I'm not in favor of spending
It's a
any
private,
amount of money. And I think if we, any attempt to remove the gate at this point, I think interferes with county operations and could create legal liability to the township. So that's where I stand.
I would like to ask the question, the definition of legal, a private cartway, if the person that owns that land, if we're requiring them to lock and unlock a gate, is that lawful on a legal cartway? I mean, it's a legal question. I have no idea. So we're asking them to go above and beyond, so
But the private cartway is not for that property. Really, what I see slaughterhouses have is a prescriptive easement, not necessarily the cartway. Prescriptive easement, again, my understanding, I'm not a lawyer, is we just allow access. We have been allowing access. We will continue to allow access. But I'm not in favor of spending this amount of money when it's been this way for 30 years, and I think it makes no sense for us to completely change our operation and spend a significant amount of money when it's been going this way for 30 years, and it will be on the backs of the Becker County taxpayers.
Well, it should have been done, it was done wrong 30
Well, we
years
don't know
ago.
that it was.
No, we do know.
We have no documentation that it was.
We know that you gated that road, okay? Now, our attorney told us, I asked him if this went to court. He told us that the township and that family would have a very strong case. That was his word.
Which attorney?
Our attorney, right here, our attorney sat right here and told us that. Brian told us they would have a very strong case.
I think there's some concerns here. I mean, if we put a proposal in and ask if we can just do the 3-strand wire and put in, we'd have 1, 2, 3 rolling gates. I mean, I don't think we're talking a lot of money.
We're not talking a lot of money.
It's not the money either.
And
It's the disruption of the operation.
And there's not a huge disruption
And I
there.
think
And this sounds like
this is paid for by
people are
the
making a bigger
garbage
deal out of this than it really is.
tipping fees.
It's not that big of a disruption to open 2 gates. For us to landlock this property and take the value out of these taxpayers' property is amazing to me. None of us would want it on our property. They were very good when they allowed us to gate that. They have been using that for years, and I'm going to tell you, there's liability to having, if somebody was hurt back there, we're liable. Am I wrong, Brian? What happens if somebody gets hurt back there and the ambulance can't get back to that property? And because we've got it gated.
They would have another route to go around.
Well, on the weekend, do they?
Well,
I mean, if somebody was hurt in a hunting accident back there and an ambulance can't get in because the county's got that gated, are we liable for that, Brian?
First of all, I want to correct the record here. I said the slaughterhouse would have a very strong case for prescriptive easement. I didn't say anything about the township.
Okay.
Ever.
I'm sorry about that. I wasn't sure how it was meant, but the slaughterhouse are here. So they would have a very strong case.
For a prescriptive easement.
I think we all agree that they have a right to get to their property.
Yes, they do.
I think we all agree to that. We're just agreeing, not in agreement, what the solution is. For what's the best solution. I don't know where we're at in the process, but I would like us to move forward with applying for the permit through the MPC or the whichever group with the put a proposal in for a 3-wire fence and for the roll gates not to be not to have monitors on them. If that's needed, then we'd look at that later, but I don't know at this time. I would rather see us put if that's the case, then I would rather see us do a loop around and charge on the way out, and then you're monitoring, then your out gate is monitoring those access points.
Yeah.
So I guess, Madam Chair, I do want to provide access as well I have offered an access point to keep our landfill closed so it doesn't go down, it doesn't split the middle of our landfill, to go to the east, south of the HHW building. That gets them over to their property, actually their field property. That was offered, and I think we could do that. We'd have to okay that with the MPCA tool too, but that would provide access as well.
But it doesn't provide access to the back property. Well, there's a big swamp there.
I think there's a,
it limits that access to the main property that they're using.
Madam Chair, but I think that's a moot point unless they agree to that.
Well, correct. Absolutely correct.
And you've already asked them that, and they didn't agree to it.
Correct.
So are we willing to?
They, as in the landowners.
How much are we willing to spend on a fight, and a legal fight? And I asked the sheriff about taking down the gate, and he's not here right now, but.
Well, it's so much gray area that I don't know what you're gonna do.
We shouldn't be doing this to our township, and we shouldn't be doing this to these landowners, period. It's wrong, and we should spend the money, secure our landfill. It's not gonna be that much, and I'm sorry, it's not a big hassle to open 2 gates and close 2 gates. It is a big deal if we landlock their property and devalue that property. That is a huge deal. And I
think my understanding, if we had a private cartway, this land has always been landlocked. If the private cartway went to a different property, this land has always been landlocked, whether that gate is there or not. They have the access through a prescriptive easement, which means this is how they've been accessing it. They will continue to access it that way. So I mean, I think.
Well, we're talking about the gate though. Is the gate legal or not? And if that's a private cartway or not, is that gate legal to be there? And I don't believe it is.
The research that I have done, as long as landowners have access, which they do through having access through the gate, it is legal. Again, I'm not an attorney, so I can't say for sure, but the research that I have done, a private cartway can be gated as long as all property owners have access. A cartway is established for private landowners to gain access.
I think one could argue if that's the solution, you're kicking the can down the road anyway.
We are.
Yes,
because
we are.
At some point, there's numerous owners with that property, and if they split it all, there's going to be numerous key holders. And at some point, even at this point, it's not a secure landfill when you have numerous people that aren't affiliated with the county have keys to completely access your landfill.
Madam Chair, so let's not kick the can down the road. Let's go to the east there, because right now that field is being accessed, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they come across the railroad tracks. I called the CP line. I got a hold of a MnDOT guy, so that is a private roadway there. But how are they going to get into that field if let's say the person who owns that property that is allowing them access right now, say they die, move on, sell it, whatever, how are they going to get that tractor in there? If they go down this road that we create, still doesn't solve their problem for the tractor in that field. So you talk about kicking the can down the road. I want to solve the problem now. It should have been solved 30 years ago. It wasn't. Handshake deals, I get all that, but let's solve it now. Let's keep our campus one piece. We can still give them access by going around our campus, gate that off, fence that off, do whatever we have to do, going to the east. We can do that.
That doesn't give them access to where they're hunting, Phil. How are they supposed to? No, it doesn't. There's a big swamp there. How are they supposed to get back to where they're hunting, to where the land they're using? How are they supposed to do that? Walk through the swamp?
Then let me ask another question. How are you going to get the tractor into the field?
I'm not concerned about getting the tractor into the field. I'm concerned about keeping that cartway open.
How they use their land is irrelevant.
I'm worried about devaluing their land. It's a small problem for us with a 3-wire high tensile fence and 2 gates. It's a small problem. If you want to make it into a big problem, I watch people come in here and say, this is the end of the world. There's a resort coming in. It's going to devalue my property. This is the same thing. It's not a big problem. We open and close gates. We take care of the property owners. They've been here and worked this land forever. These are the salt of the earth, and we should take care of them and do the right thing, and we should quit kicking this down the road. They keep showing, the township keeps showing up here. We need to treat our township right. We need to treat those people right. It's not a big deal to secure this landfill. And if you want to make a big deal out of it, you can, but it's really not.
I mean, I see the benefits of having it not having the road there. I mean, obviously, it would be best if it wasn't. But I see this as truly a workable situation with the 3-wire strand and gate. Those 2 gates are going to be opened morning and night. If the
MPCA says they can,
Right.
if they don't have to be closed every time, we don't know that yet because we haven't come up with a plan yet.
We should have known that by now, but they told us we can use rocks and logs. You heard it, Phil. Does it sound like that we have to have, I don't believe we have to close them every time. If you did, that would shock me.
You know.
And they were very willing and able to work with us.
That was, when you were talking to them, that was the closed landfill people that were talking?
There was so many different people there the second time, Steve, but they made it very clear that they wanted to work with us, and I don't believe they're going to make us open and close those gates every day.
Steve, are you aware of any other landfills, whether it's in the region or in Minnesota, that have a public road dividing their campus?
Not that I'm aware of. I just don't know.
I want to make a motion to do that fencing, and
there's a motion, yep. We'll discuss it.
All right, we have a motion to, I'm assuming it's.
Madam Chair, I will second, but let's clarify the motion. I would ask that the motion maker state that put in for a permit from the Minnesota Pollution Control for a 3-wire fence with rolling gates as needed, as proposed, in up to 6 rolling gates. I don't think we need rolling gates, maybe some access points, but put in for the proposal and see. And if they accept it, then we can review it. And if they say, well, we need more, then we review it. But I think that's what I'd like to do, and that's would be my second.
Yep.
Now, if we're in discussion, I think.
Are we in discussion, or would you?
Well, we have a motion and a
Have a
second.
motion and a
So now we're in
You just
discussion.
changed the motion. You seconded it?
I second the motion.
Any further
Do we
discussion?
apply for the, Madam Chair, I think Roy has a comment, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's talk to Roy first. And
I'm just wondering, if you're going to put the fence up, how wide are you going to have it between the fences? Is it going to be 33 feet, or is it going to be 66 feet?
You mean on the side of the road?
When you're bringing the fence to the south.
I don't think it can be 66 feet.
No, it can't, Roy. There's a cap on that closed landfill, and we can't.
Right, but that's what I'm wondering, how wide is your?
You want to state that?
Is it only going to be 33 feet?
That's what our plan was, yeah.
Well, if they're going to do something in the future down there as a development or anything, then they're probably going to have 66 feet.
But as I understand it, we have okayed access like this before, and we don't know if they're going to develop or not, but certainly if they did, I found out, or we had talked that we have developments with narrow access like this.
There's a difference between the cartway, which is only 33 feet, and a public road, which is 66 feet. But normally you would have to have a public road to get to a development down there.
Which we don't have.
But
right.
There's a difference between a cartway and by prescription use. Prescription is just using it. No document, but it's just used by the public. A cartway was actually the document that was prepared here in 1918. So if it's going to be a cartway, it's 33 feet. If it's going to be prescriptive road, it could be 66 just by usage over the years. So.
Well, I was under the impression when we initially that this was only a 33-foot cartway. That's all that I was. I wouldn't have supported a larger one initially. So I would suggest that it would be.
And right now, they're not talking about a development. They're talking about using their hunting land.
And logging.
And not, and of course, they've spent money, and some of them have bought in, and some of them have sold, and of course, they don't want that value. So we're not really talking about a development today, we're talking about legal access to their property. That's
I
what we're
guess my
talking about.
question is if you're gonna put fencing up, how wide, how
Well,
wide
we're gonna stay within that 33.
within the 33 feet?
Yep, we've had our highway out there and done some.
We will have to,
Madam Chair, Richard, you talked about rocks and logs and stuff. I mean, that does have a cap on it, that closed landfill part. I mean, are we going to be driving holes into that landfill?
No, we're
That
not.
is on the west side of the road. That,
You're right.
I mean.
Do we have any more discussion specifically about the
Yes.
motion?
I would say that we'd ask for 33-foot, except at gating areas, that they can go in to accommodate gates. And the distance between fence posts, I suppose, do we need to identify that, or that will be something that the
Well, that fence
committee could look at?
Yeah.
I just want to state, I have two concerns. One is I don't believe that taking that gate off and having that be a public road is responsible of us to securing our landfill. Because I think that opens up, I'm not saying during the day when we can open the gates and we can use it. I just think that we're opening up a big can of worms for anybody that can go in there and just do whatever they want. I don't like that. I don't think that we're being responsible for that. I don't necessarily like having to spend money, but the amount of money that we were talking about now is a lot less possibly, but then we're not securing our landfill. If we don't have cameras, if we don't have ways to make sure we know who's done some of these things that we think might happen, then how are we going to secure our landfill?
I'm confused about the concern, Dave. Do you think somebody's gonna go through those wires and go and damage something in there? I mean,
We're going to have cameras on all the buildings. They're all-
I'm confused about what, it's a landfill. Nobody's gonna steal anything. They might dump something.
They're gonna dump stuff and then.
Well,
now
they don't dump it right there. They dump it down the road. We've seen it. And yeah, they dump on all the roads close to there, actually. But that's, if somebody does dump something, I'm failing to see the big issue there.
So now instead of dumping on other roads, they can drive in there and dump it.
And what would happen? The place would explode? I mean, this is the part that's getting me, is we're making up stuff that really, somebody dumped a couch there. Well, you know what our township does? They go pick it up and bring it to the landfill.
It's like any other.
That's the kind of guys we have.
If there did become a problem, we would create measures to alleviate it.
We would create measures that would then become $350,000 for us to.
Yes, that's the issue.
All you
So,
have to do is put a camera at your entrance and exit of the facility to see if someone drives in there with a couch, and then they drive out without a couch, you know who it is.
I mean, look at you motors out there and all the stuff that's sitting there. I mean, there's we have a landfill, and
I mean, I think your
full of
concerns
demo
are
and
warranted,
garbage.
but I don't
failing
see
to
this
see it.
as a.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see it. Now, if this passes, we have a direction that we are going to ask Steve to put together a presentation for MPCA to see if it's allowable. But if we don't pass this, what is the solution?
Well, it looks like there's going to be a legal
But I'm
fight.
just saying, we don't have a solution. Now, Phil has proposed an option, and we can do that option at any time if we get the landowners, but that option will cost us $250,000. And the option that we're looking at here, I bet, will be 50, 60.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, no, it won't. No, it will not cost $250,000 with my option.
To build a road? To build a road that's what, half a mile long, 3/4 mile?
It's about a 1/4 mile, and I got a gravel road estimate from our construction people, and they said about $30,000, maybe a little more. Now, that doesn't include the fencing.
$1,000.
My
Can
neighbor
you,
just
Jim?
put in a driveway less than 100 yards, was $35,000.
I got that number from Brian.
You can put in a 1/4 mile of gravel road for $30,000? Wow,
We're not talking.
I guess,
we're not talking.
Jim, I build roads, and
we're not talking gravel.
From who?
I got it. I
From
asked.
who?
For an estimate from Jim and Brian. I asked
Okay.
them for an estimate.
Really, Jim?
I got one more
A quarter mile of gravel road for 30 grand? Because I do this for a living, and that is,
Clearing and grubbing or anything, the road is already partially there, so you just gotta go for time to build a ditch and.
Well-
It's not gonna be a wide gravel road, it'll only be about 22 feet wide, which is also typical for a subdivision.
I gotta look at distance.
yeah, well, the landowner,
So just,
we've already
let me
been
just ask,
offered that. and-
can I get a question? I just have a question. I'm gonna use my pointer here. Now, I'm gonna look here. Now, where are we talking the gravel road? So the gravel road, we'd have to, where are you securing? Here? Or where would you talk about this?
Go to
gravel
south
road?
of the HHW building and go directly east.
South here?
Yep. We have a 50 feet barrier before the landfill starts going east.
Going east here?
East, keep going.
All the way to that.
Keep going, right there. That's where the farm field starts. From there, they could go down and access their property. You're right, Richard.
You're saying that your road would only go on this line?
Correct.
Oh,
That
so
is
it would-
correct.
it would- I thought you're talking coming around here and accessing down here.
No.
Well, they don't have, like I said, that doesn't give them access, and they did, this has been offered to them, and they've turned it down. Is that right, Phil? Didn't you offer this to them and they turned it down?
Yes.
Okay, so they are in.
Slaughter-off group
They
did
are
say
not
they
in
didn't want
agreement
that.
of it.
And again.
And so how much are you
these
willing to
agreements
spend
could
on a
go
legal
on-
fight?
These agreements could go on, be ongoing, whether, no, regardless of today. I mean, we could try.
Correct.
We could find.
We also
find
talked
those
about
solutions.
trading some land or buying some land. They said that they need to get the loan secured before those things can happen. But those things are hopefully still on the table
Well,
down the road as well.
I think, hopefully those things can be on the table regardless what we do here today. We can ask that we present something to MPCA and see if that works. And we can still ask, hey, can we find another solution for this?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, but you're going to outlay $250,000 to put a fence in and then
It's not gonna cost.
provide okay, whatever it is.
The fence, the 5-strand fence was 28,000, and if you go down to 3 wires, you're talking probably, 23,000. You're talking 5, you're talking another 6 gates. And where are your gates? Swing gates, $1,000 per.
I can tell you, I'm not in favor of us just doing minimum to get by to secure our landfill. I think we need to make sure it's secure. With that being said, any further discussion before we call a
Yeah,
vote?
I got one more thing.
Okay.
So originally, they came in and asked for, just to make it a permanent easement. I don't remember if it was a 66 foot or a 33.
66.
I think it was 66 feet. I think that I would be okay with giving a permanent easement of 33 feet. They have a key to the gate. We make it permanent, we make it forever. And then the township would have to agree to, I don't think it's township road, that's irrelevant. But they would have to agree that it would be vacated. And then I think that's worked, it's worked before, it will continue to work. I don't think it devalues their property, it hasn't devalued, it would be the same as what it is now.
And this
So
is,
if
but
you had
this is how
3
it's been
houses
30
back
years.
there, Dave, and this, how does this not devalue their property? If you've got, when you go home, you have to take a key and open it up, and now you want to sell that house back there. No, this does devalue. It limits access to the property, and it definitely does devalue it. They had access before the county stuck their nose in there and did this wrong 30 years ago.
Madam Chair?
And
If we pass this motion is only directing Steve to put together a proposal to request if MPCA would approve it. It would still have to come back before us to get hard numbers and hard codes. I mean, this is moving in a direction on this option. Doesn't mean we have to do this option, even if it does get approved today. I just want to point that out.
And for me, one second, for me, it's been working for 30 years. I don't know why we're disrupting it. So I think.
Madam Chair, I guess I would answer that. If I was the landowner and I built a house back there, I'm not going to get out of my car and open a locked gate and close the locked gate every time I go through there.
Well, when
So
you
the
only
county-
have a prescriptive easement and no documented road.
That's easy to say when we're here, but this is this would be in court, I would assume, to determine what we can what we can and cannot do at having a locked gate at our entrance for a landowner. I mean, that's the crux of it. And I think we would have to put up an automatic gate opener up there for whoever wanted it, if that's the option. We would have to put up automatic, and we'd have to set it back so you could get trucks in there before you hit that opener. So I mean, that's the same expense too.
And our attorney just said they would have a very strong case if they did take this to court. So
If we were not going to allow access.
No,
That
that's not what he said. He said, and so, because he did not answer about the locked gate. And I want to know, what is the county's liability to have a locked gate if somebody's hurt in an accident back?
You're asking, you could ask 5 lawyers and you get 5.
Yeah, I know it.
So,
yeah, well.
So if we vote on this and we pass this, well, we're going to vote on it. We're just basically saying that we're going to have Steve look and see what the MPCA.
If they'll allow that as a solution.
Okay. And then if they do allow it as a solution, then we'd have to vote again
then we'll
to
have
approve
to-
the solution.
And the expense.
And the expense.
And get hard quotes on it.
Yeah.
All right, let's call it to vote.
Or do you want Kevin to?
Oh, Kevin, sorry.
Oh, that's right.
This is a stance of the township. In talking with our legal counsel at the Minnesota Association of Townships at length about this situation. That road was originally recorded as a private cartway. By usage, it became a public cartway when as many as 3 or possibly 4 families lived back there and used that. It became a public cartway by usage. It was maintained by the township. So we are very confident that if needed, that is still a public road. It's still recorded as a minimum maintenance public road. It was illegally gated in 1993 by the county. We actually, as township supervisors, have been kind of called to the carpet for allowing that gate to be up there as long as it has. So they are going to have the full strength of our Minnesota Association of Townships if we remove that gate. And that is what's going to happen. So if we want to get into a peeing match back and forth about who's right and who's wrong, that's what's going to happen. Because we're taking the stance, you guys illegally gated that road 30-some years ago.
Well, I mean, we don't know what happened 30-some years ago because there's nothing there that says the township has allowed it for 30 years.
Usage and maintenance by the township. We have records to that effect, so it is a public road. It's a public cart.
That has not been maintained for 30 years.
Yes, it has been maintained as a minimum maintenance road.
And what has been maintained about it by the township for the last 30 years?
Is gravel, not gravel, but graded up until about 14 or 15.
How often?
As needed. That's what a minimum maintenance road is.
But you don't have.
We're not going to grade it 5 times a year just to have a maintenance record. We graded it. We're a township. We don't have a very big budget. We graded it as needed. So that's the stance the township is going to take. If you guys, I just want you to know that when you do your vote, because that's where we're coming from. That is a public road.
Madam Chair, do you understand our dilemma?
Absolutely, I do. But
from
the same token, we cannot condone you guys illegally gating to save money back in 1992 or 93. At that time, the only reason it was allowed to have that gate come up was it was a temporary deal until you guys could get something resolved with the MPCA. Well, what happened is nobody kind of gave a rip, so we left, the gate got to stay up there, and the county just took advantage of it. So, for us to feel sorry for the county now because it's going to cost you $100,000, it could have cost you $10,000 back then. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for not kind of doing it right back then. You took easy way out then, and we're not going to allow you to do it again. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
We're willing to work with you, but it cannot continue with that gate there.
Well, Madam Chair, would working with us be going to the east there? Is that workable? Why not?
We can't get to all of our property down that way.
Because our land is flooded from the water the MPCA is dumping on us.
You can get to that field if you want us to go to the east.
You can't force that solution on the landowners.
Yeah,
And if
they're
they're not
always
agreeable
supposed to
to it, then
be
that's,
across that
that's the way it is.
All right, let's call it to vote. All those in favor?
Repeat the motion or whatever.
That we will get,
We're asking Steve to put together a plan consisting of a 3-wire fence and up to 6 rolling gates, and if you need walking gates or other gates, and submit it to the MPCA for approval.
So we're just doing, we're not.
We're asking for approval of this. We're not asking to do it. We don't have quotes.
Yep.
Well, if we get approval, then we'll have to go out for quotes for the gates and the fencing and come back to the board. So this really is just saying, let's see if we can do it this way and what their response is. And maybe they'll come back and say, we need 5 wires. Maybe they'll say we need monitoring, but this is at least get us the minimum if they allow the 3-wire and rolling gates opened in morning and night for the access and we will have our gates closed during non-business hours. Is that accurate, Richard?
Yep.
You do roll call or are you gonna?
yep, I'm going to call a roll call vote. Start with Commissioner Nelson.
Aye.
Aye.
No.
No?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries to move forward with a plan to the MPCA. I would also like to, in the meantime, have us get a legal opinion as to what our requirement is to secure or to allow access and how that should work, as far as whether it's a prescriptive easement, cartway,
Madam Chair,
and what it might be.
I don't support that, and because I think the only we have to work with the landowners. We don't need to work with the lawyers. I mean, if the landowners say this is what we want, I mean, I think we're at a point where we have to provide access to that, and we should provide. They've been getting that, and we can find a lawyer that can say I can fight this in court and win, and they can find a lawyer and say I can fight this in court and win. I think if we can find solutions, if Phil's solution would work, I mean, certainly not something we can't still pursue. All of these options we can pursue as we're moving forward with this. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
And I agree with Barry, but also our attorney did say they would have a very strong case, and I'm not willing to spend any more. When we talk about spending money,
I think the key is if the landowners are acceptable to a different solution, we can still do that. I mean, but I don't know what that is.
And I just want to note, our attorney said that the Slaughterhouse have a strong case of a prescriptive easement.
no, it's not.
What does
he
that
said.
prescriptive easement
That's
mean?
not what he said.
Yes,
I
that is what he
asked-
said.
That
I'm
is
going
what
to
I've
ask the
said.
question. I asked him if this went to court, who would win? We didn't talk, I didn't ask him about
But
a
I think
prescriptive
That's
easement.
not how it was stated.
I think Erica is stating, does that prescription, can we keep a fence up on a prescriptive easement?
Yes.
Does a prescriptive easement mean that they have the right to the access the way they have been accessing it for the last 30 years? Or does it mean we have to do whatever they say they want in order for us to get access? That's what I want a legal opinion on.
And
Madam Chair, can I make just one comment?
Mhm.
The reason this started was because you can't grant an easement on a public road. It's legally not possible.
Yep.
And it was determined this is a public road.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was determined it was a public road.
There's lots of battles within this, and if we don't have to fight them today, because hopefully we don't have to fight them. I mean, I just soon not.
So I would encourage the Slaughterhouse to continue to work with, whether it's Steve, Phil, whoever's been doing it, to try to find an alternative access so that we can continue to secure our landfill. All right, moving on. Anything else? All right. Kyle.
I requested some further information on both these towers, so they're gonna be tabled.
Oh, okay.
We have one question though for you, Kyle. So when I was looking at the appointments and then I looked at the notes, Cole is still on the planning and zoning, was he not?
No, they're both on. He just hadn't run out of term.
Oh, he hadn't termed out, okay, that was my question. We're waiting till he terms out.
Excuse me.
So, and then that whole board discussion.
Yeah.
or Appointment process is on the next department head agenda.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try and streamline them for EDA, everybody. We're trying to work something.
Yeah, I just didn't
All right.
know if we had said no right away or if we're gonna wait for him to term out. Okay, got it.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, meeting adjourned.
I think Carrie.